Hi, this is Pat Johnson, your sociology instructor. In this mini lecture, we're going to look at our second of 3 theoretical approaches for studying society. We're going to look at functionalism, also known as structural functionalism. The functional perspective looks at the purpose, and by purpose we mean the functions of social events or social structures, and how they contribute to the stability of a society. In other words, the functional perspective looks at the different parts of society and the purposes those parts serve in keeping the society going. This is a macro sociology approach. In other words, it's a large picture view of society. Here's a metaphor for functionalism. Your body has lots of parts, lots of organs, and each one of those organs serves a function and keeps you going. So you need a brain, you need a liver, you need a heart, you need your sense organs like your eyes, you need your kidneys, and all those different parts of your body serve different functions. And if something's wrong in any one of those parts, then the whole system has problems. Well, again, this is a metaphor. This is a metaphor for society. Society has different parts too. Society has religion, society has finance, society has military, society has the family, and all of these different social structures serve functions in the society. And again, if any one of these different social structures has problems, then we'll see problems reflected in the whole society. Social structures have functions. Think of functions as purposes or the contribution that the social structure gives to the society. And in general, we think of 3 different types of functions. When we use the term manifest function, we think of the known and intended purpose of the social structure. So for example, if the social structure we're studying is the military, what might be the manifest function of the military? In other words, what's the main purpose of the military for our society? Well, the manifest function of the military might be to protect the society, to protect the people, to protect the government, to protect the society as a whole. When we use the term latent function, we mean the unrecognized or unintended consequences or function of a social structure. So what could be the latent function of the military? Well, latent functions are always harder to recognize than the manifest function because the manifest functions are the obvious functions, the intended functions. When we think of latent functions, they're harder because they're unintended or largely unrecognized. Maybe a latent function of the military could be for people to get out of their hometowns and explore greater parts of the world and to meet people who are different from themselves. Those could be latent functions of the military. The term dysfunction means the negative consequences of a social structure, the bad things that can happen from that social structure. So what could be some dysfunctions of the military? Well, obviously, a dysfunction of the military could be harm to the individuals who serve in the military. Another dysfunction of the military could be time away from family. So when we use the structural functional or the functional approach to studying society, we are looking at the functions that different social structures have, the manifest functions, the latent functions, and the dysfunctions. So using one more example, what could be the manifest, the latent, and the dysfunctions of dating? Well, for some people, the manifest function of dating is to find their significant other, maybe even finding a partner for marriage. A latent function for dating might be something like exploring new places in your community when you go on dates. And a dysfunction of dating could be something like getting a broken heart or getting an STD if you engage in sexual intercourse while dating. So again, the functional approach looks at social structures and the functions of those social structures, be they manifest, latent, or dysfunctions.